Have you ever walked into a room and wondered if anyone noticed you were there? Somehow, with each passing year, you've faded into the background. But here's the truth. What you think is invisibility might be quiet magnetism. Women notice things. The way you carry yourself, how calm you are, that spark of wisdom in your eyes. They may not say it, but they feel it. You just haven't been looking for the signs. Let me help you start seeing them. Today, let me welcome you properly. You're here for a reason, and I think that reason is bigger than curiosity. Deep down, maybe a part of you is wondering, do I still have that something, that presence women notice? The short answer, yes, absolutely. And today we're going to talk about 7 signs that you're a stunning older man, even if you've never thought of yourself that way. And no, we're not talking about magazine covers or red carpets. We're talking about real, everyday life. The way you walk into a room, the way you listen, the quiet confidence that doesn't need a spotlight. These signs? They're subtle. They show up in how people feel around you, how conversations shift, how eyes linger. If you've ever shrugged off a compliment or chalked up attention to politeness, this video will show you there's more to it, so stick with me. Let's walk through these signs together, because this might just change the way you see yourself from here on out. Let's face it, in a world that idolizes youth, it can feel like getting older means becoming invisible. You notice more gray, slower steps, a few lines on your face, and you start to wonder if people still see you at all. But what if I told you those signs aren't flaws? What if they're proof of depth, strength, and real presence? Women see that, they feel it, and today you're going to start seeing it in yourself too. The first, calm and confident presence. Let's talk about one of the most powerful signs that you are, without realizing it, a stunning older man. It's your presence. Not just how you look, but how you carry yourself. That calm, grounded energy that follows you into a room before you even speak. You've probably heard the phrase, "still waters run deep." That's what this is. You walk in, and people notice, even if they can't explain why. Maybe they pause, shift slightly, or glance in your direction, not out of fear, not out of obligation, but because your presence has weight. It settles the space. And no, this doesn't come from shouting, showing off, or trying to impress. It comes from living, from learning, from failing and getting back up, from walking through life's highs and lows and coming out the other side with a quieter, stronger kind of confidence. Take Richard, for example. He's 74. He doesn't dress flashy. He's soft-spoken. He rarely shares much unless asked, but when he walks into the local coffee shop, conversations pause. People glance up, younger folks straighten up a little, even the staff seem to slow their steps when he's nearby. They don't know why, but they feel more grounded when he's there. That's presence. It's in the way you move with intention, how you sit without fidgeting, how you look people in the eye when they speak. It's in the way you don't rush because you've learned that urgency rarely equals importance. That kind of energy, it draws people in. Women especially notice this, not just romantically, but emotionally. Your presence signals something rare: safety, maturity, a calm center. That's something a younger man can't fake, no matter how confident he acts. And maybe you've felt it in small moments. Someone thanking you just for listening, a friend opening up to you, saying they feel better after talking, or someone quietly drifting closer to you in a room full of noise. That's not random. That's your energy doing the talking. So, here's the value. Your calm, your steadiness, your ability to simply be is magnetic. In a world that's constantly loud, fast, and chaotic, your presence is like an anchor. People feel it, and they return to it, even if they don't fully understand why. If that's ever happened to you, don't brush it off. Pay attention, because that's not luck. That's you, showing up as your full self. And that's stunning. And here's something to think about. In a world full of noise, people crave peace. They crave certainty. And when you walk into a room carrying the energy of someone who has been through enough to know what matters and what doesn't, that is felt. It's rare, it's comforting. You don't have to say much. The most stunning older men often speak less but say more. They choose words with care. They listen without interrupting, and when they do speak, it lands because it comes from experience, not ego. This presence? It is not earned in a day, it's built through the years, through showing up for yourself, through mistakes and growth and moments that test who you are. And guess what? You're still here, still standing, still showing up. So if you've ever wondered whether people see you, just know this, they do. And more than that, they feel you. Because your presence carries more than a body, it carries meaning. The second, style and grooming, expanded version. Let's move on to another sign that often gets overlooked, but it says so much. It's when people, especially women, compliment your style or grooming. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's just a shirt, or she was probably just being polite. But here's the truth. Those small comments, they're not small at all. When someone says, "I like your jacket," or "you always look sharp," what they're noticing is how you show up, and that matters. Style doesn't mean you're wearing the most expensive clothes or following the latest trends. It means you understand what suits you. It's the way your shirt fits, the way your shoes are clean, the care you take with your beard or hair, even if it's silver now. Let me tell you about Martin. He's 76, lives in a quiet town, nothing fancy, but every Sunday he puts on a crisp navy sweater and khakis, smells fresh, hair neatly trimmed. People notice. The clerk at the grocery store, the woman 2 pews over at church, and even his neighbors. One of them told him, "I don't know what it is, but you always look so put together." That's not about fashion, that's about presence. Because when you take care of yourself, you send a message. You're saying, "I still care." You're showing respect for yourself and the people around you. And women, they pick up on that. They're drawn to that kind of thoughtfulness. It's not flashy, it's consistent. It's the kind of thing that builds trust without a word. And it's not just about appearance, it's about how your appearance makes others feel. A well-groomed man gives off calm, order, and care. He seems dependable, intentional, like he takes life seriously, but not too seriously. That's attractive. So next time someone says they like your cologne, your shoes, or your haircut, don't brush it off. Take it in. It's a sign, a real one. And if you've been feeling like nobody sees you anymore, maybe it's time to look at how you're showing up. Not for them, for you. Because of how you feel in your clothes, in your skin, that energy carries. You don't need to dress to impress. You dress because it's a reflection of how you respect the life you've built and the man you've become. And that speaks louder than any compliment ever could. Think about it. You've lived through decades. You've worked, built, loved, lost, and learned. That journey shows up in the way you carry yourself, and yes, in how you dress. You may not be trying to make a statement, but you do. Every time you show up with intention, even in the smallest ways, people feel it. Maybe it's the clean cut of your jacket, the shine on your shoes, or the fact that you take pride in not looking sloppy. These choices might seem small, but they're habits built from discipline and self-respect. And when others see that, they don't just see how you look, they feel who you are. So, no, it's not just a compliment, it's recognition, and you've earned it. The third. Warm reactions from women. Now let's talk about something most men miss completely. It's the warm reactions from women, those subtle little moments when they smile at you in line, strike up a casual conversation, or just seem unusually friendly. You might think they're just being polite, but here's the thing. They're not always just being nice. Sometimes they're responding to something about you, something they can't quite explain but they feel it. You're not chasing attention. And that's exactly what makes you appealing. When you're just being yourself, calm, grounded, and present, people respond to that. Especially women. It's the unspoken confidence, the ease you carry. It makes them feel safe, curious, and drawn in. Take Thomas, for example. He's 72, widowed, and lives a pretty quiet life. One day, he's shopping for walking shoes and strikes up a quick conversation with a woman in her 50s. Nothing flirty, nothing planned. But when he walked away, she found a reason to circle back. She said one more thing, something small, just to keep the interaction going. His granddaughter saw the whole thing and later said, "Grandpa, she was totally into you." He laughed it off. But here's the lesson. Those little gestures are not random. They're signs. A light touch on your arm, a laugh that lingers longer than the joke deserves, a question that didn't need asking. Women have their way of signaling interest, and it's often softer, more subtle. If you're not tuned in, you'll miss it. These moments happen when you least expect them, at the post office, on a walk, in the coffee line. And while they may seem like small talk, they're often more than that. It's about how women feel around you, your vibe, your energy. Women are incredibly perceptive. They're not just looking at your face or your clothes, they're feeling your presence. Is it calm? Is it sincere? Does it feel safe? That's what they're responding to. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to force anything. You don't need a pickup line or a strategy. Just keep being exactly who you are. That quiet magnetism you carry, it does more work than any compliment ever could. So next time a woman smiles a little longer than usual or seems to go out of her way to talk to you, don't shrug it off. That could be her way of saying, without words, there's something about you. And she's probably right. You see, attraction at this stage of life isn't about flash. It's about substance. It's about how you make someone feel in your presence. When a woman feels heard, seen, and at ease around you, that's not by chance. That's earned through years of becoming who you are. And often it's the little things that tip her off. The way you hold the door without hesitation. The way you smile with your eyes, not just your mouth. The calm tone in your voice when others are rushing. These are not tricks. They are truths. So pay attention to those reactions. The world may not shout your value from the rooftops, but people feel it, and sometimes, just sometimes, they show it in the softest ways. That's the beauty of this phase of life. Your presence speaks before you even say a word. The fourth, making people feel safe and heard. Let's talk about something that has nothing to do with how you look, but everything to do with how you make people feel. One of the clearest signs that you're a stunning older man is when people feel safe and heard in your presence. When someone feels like they can open up to you, when they talk and you listen, not to fix, not to judge, but just to understand, that is powerful, it's rare, and it is deeply attractive. Think about it. In today's world, everyone is busy talking to each other, so when you show up and truly listen, that stands out. It makes people lean in. Women especially notice this. Emotional safety is one of the most underrated forms of attraction. Let me introduce you to Leonard. He's 80 and volunteers at his local community center. He's not flashy, he doesn't offer advice unless someone asks, but people line up to sit next to him. One of the younger women on staff once said, "I don't know why, but after talking to him I always feel calmer." That's not luck. That's presence. That's emotional depth. It's in the way you stay quiet when someone needs to vent, the way you nod at the right moments, the way you let silence be a part of the conversation instead of rushing to fill it. These are the behaviors that say, "You matter. I hear you." And the truth is, most people don't feel heard. They feel like the world is too fast and too distracted. So when you bring that quiet steadiness, that patience, you give them something they didn't even know they were missing. You don't have to be a therapist, you just have to be present, and believe me, that's enough. If people tell you things they don't share with others, or if someone has ever said, "I don't know why I'm telling you this," take that seriously. That's trust, that's a connection, and it's incredibly rare. Women are drawn to this because it signals maturity, it signals strength that doesn't have to prove itself, and that's something real, something lasting. So if this sounds like you, don't overlook it. Your ability to create emotional space for others is not just kind, it's magnetic. And in a noisy world, your calm presence might just be the thing that leaves the deepest impression. And here's something worth remembering. Being emotionally available doesn't mean you have to spill your life story. It just means you show up with your full attention, no phone in your hand, no rush to respond, just being there, fully present. That kind of presence is grounding. It makes people feel like they can breathe. And when you consistently offer that kind of space, people start to seek you out, not because you're trying to lead, but because you naturally make others feel seen and valued. That is leadership. That is masculinity at its most authentic. And that is the kind of quiet impact that lingers long after the conversation ends. The fifth, being sought out for advice. Let's talk about something that says more about your character than almost anything else. It's this. People come to you for advice, and not just once, they come back. Whether it's about relationships, work, family stuff, or just how to deal with life, they trust you, they lean in, they listen. That's not an accident. When someone asks for your input, what they're saying is, I value your perspective. And that's powerful, because wisdom isn't just knowing the answer, it's knowing how to respond with care, with clarity, and without trying to control the outcome. Take Frank, for example. He's 78, retired, and lives in a small neighborhood where everybody seems to know him. Teenagers ask him about college, couples ask him about marriage, people sit on his porch just to talk. And Frank? He doesn't try to impress anyone. He listens, he shares a story or two, and when he does speak, it's always thoughtful, never forced. That kind of presence? That's rare, and it's deeply respected. See, when people trust you with their questions, it's because you've shown consistency. You've lived long enough to know that not everything needs an immediate answer. Sometimes, what people need more than advice is a calm voice and a steady hand. It's not about being the smartest guy in the room. It's about being the one who doesn't need to prove anything, who listens, who waits before he speaks, who speaks with meaning, not volume. That energy draws people in. And let's be honest, there's something magnetic about someone who has perspective. You've seen enough to know when to worry and when to let things pass. When you speak from that place of lived experience, people feel it. And here's something else. When someone walks away from a conversation with you feeling clearer, lighter, or just more seen, that's a gift. A quiet one, but a real one. Women notice this too. Maybe they ask your opinion on something small. Maybe they share something they've been holding in. What they're doing is testing the emotional safety of your space. And when they feel that steady wisdom behind your words, they remember it. So if people come to you, open up to you, or say things like, I always feel better after we talk, believe them. That's not just friendship or familiarity. That's a reflection of the kind of man you are, and that, without a doubt, is one of the clearest signs that you're a man others quietly admire. And here's the deeper truth. Being that kind of steady presence for others takes time. It's the result of years of showing up for yourself and the people in your life. It comes from facing hard moments and learning to stay grounded through them. That stability you carry, that's not just helpful, it's healing. The world is full of noise, so when you show up with quiet clarity, you're not just giving advice, you're giving reassurance. You're saying, I've been there, you'll be okay. And that, more than any speech or lecture, is what people need. The sixth, sense of humor. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you. One of the most underrated signs that you're a stunning older man is your sense of humor, not the kind that makes everyone roar with laughter every 5 seconds. I'm talking about the type of humor that makes people feel good, light, comfortable. You know what I mean. The dad jokes, the self-deprecating one-liners, the way you chuckle at life's little absurdities. That kind of humor isn't just funny, it's disarming. It tells people, hey, you can relax around me. And that's a rare kind of gift. Take Harold, for example. He's 81 and still tells the same 3 corny jokes at every family gathering. Everyone rolls their eyes, But everyone also laughs, because it's not just about the jokes, it's about him. The twinkle in his eye, the joy in his voice. People love being around Harold because he brings ease wherever he goes. Your humor tells a story. It says you've been through enough to know that not everything needs to be taken seriously, that you can face life with a little grin, that you've got perspective. And that perspective? It draws people in. When women laugh around you, really laugh, it means they feel safe. It means they feel seen. Laughter is connection. It breaks the tension. It builds trust. And when that comes from you, without trying too hard, it leaves an impression. It also shows confidence. A man who can laugh at himself, who can roll with life, who doesn't get rattled by little things, that's someone who feels solid. And that steadiness is attractive. And you know what? You don't need to be a comedian. Just be real. Share stories. Make people smile. Be the guy who lightens the room, not by being loud, but by being warm. Here's the thing. Your humor doesn't need to win awards. It just needs to be yours. Maybe it's dry. Maybe it's playful. Maybe it's just the way you deliver a line with perfect timing. Own it. It's part of your charm. So, the next time someone laughs at your joke, even if you've told it a dozen times before, take a moment. That laughter, that connection, that's part of your quiet magic. And don't ever underestimate what a little humor can do. It can turn strangers into friends, awkward silence into shared moments, and regular men into truly unforgettable ones. And let's not forget, humor is healing. Life throws enough curveballs, and sometimes a well-placed joke or a funny observation can shift the energy in the room. You've likely seen it happen. Maybe a tense conversation relaxed because you made someone laugh, or maybe a tough day felt just a little lighter because of something simple you said. That's more than charm. That's influence. And it comes from being fully present, aware, and in tune with the people around you. So, if laughter follows you, or if your presence makes people smile without even trying, that's not a coincidence. That's part of the reason people love having you around. The seventh, sublearning and glances. Let's talk about something that might catch you off guard, because it's easy to miss. One of the most telling signs that you're a stunning older man is when you still catch glances. You know the ones I'm talking about, that second look, that half smile, the way someone's eyes stay on you just a second longer than expected. A lot of guys brush this off. They think, she's probably looking at something else, or that was just coincidence. But more often than not, it's not. Women have a way of noticing presence, not just appearance, and when you carry yourself with confidence, calm, and authenticity, it draws attention, even if you're not trying. Take Charles, for example. He's 77 and walks every morning at the same park. There's a woman maybe 20 years younger who started greeting him regularly. At first it was just, "Good morning." Then came small talk about the weather. Over time, she started matching his pace, smiling more, lingering. One day she said, "I enjoy seeing you here." Charles didn't think much of it, but if you were watching from the outside, you'd see what was going on. The way she leaned in when he talked, the way her body language softened, the warmth in her tone. These aren't just random gestures, they're signs of admiration. Quiet, but clear. You might have had moments like that. Someone fixes their hair when they see you, or stands just a little closer than necessary during a conversation. Maybe someone laughs at something you said that wasn't even that funny. These moments don't mean someone is falling in love on the spot, but they do mean you're being noticed, you're being appreciated, not for flash, but for presence. Women pick up on the subtleties. They feel the energy of a man who is self-assured, comfortable in his skin, and fully present in the moment. That kind of presence is magnetic and often more attractive than anything else. And the best part? You don't have to chase it. You don't have to prove anything. Just keep being real. Keep showing up as the man life has shaped you into. So next time you catch someone looking your way, don't dismiss it. Take it in. Because chances are, They're seeing something in you that even you've forgotten how to recognize. And if they're looking twice, it's not an accident. It's a quiet confirmation of the man you've become. And here's something worth reflecting on. That attention you receive now is rooted in depth. You've lived, learned, and loved. You carry stories, experiences, and strength that can't be faked or fast-tracked. And it shows, not in flashy ways, but in how you carry yourself. Sometimes a woman is not reacting to how you look in that moment, but to the entire life you've lived that shows up in your eyes, in your tone, in your quiet confidence. That's the real spark. And it stays with people even after you've walked away. Let's just take a moment here. You've made it through all 7 signs, and maybe some of them hit closer to home than you expected. Maybe you saw yourself in those quiet moments, a conversation that lingered, a compliment you shrugged off, a glance you never thought much about until now. The truth is, you've been carrying this kind of quiet power for a while. You just haven't called it what it is. You haven't named it confidence or presence or attraction, but now you can. It's in the way people lean in when you speak, how they feel steadier just by sitting near you. It's in the way women respond to your energy, even if neither of you says a word about it. You're not overlooked. You're unforgettable. You're not fading. You're deepening. And right now, in this moment, I hope you see it. Not because I said so, but because you feel it. You've earned every inch of this presence. And the world? It feels it, even when you don't. So, what do we take from all this? That being a stunning older man isn't about fighting time. It's about embracing what time has given you, your quiet strength, your calm energy, your ability to walk into a room and change the atmosphere just by being there. You don't need to chase trends or reinvent yourself. The man you've become, the one shaped by experience, growth, and lessons learned, is already magnetic. That presence, that stillness, that's what makes people lean in. You've seen life, you've carried others, you've shown up for the hard parts and stayed steady, and people feel that when they're around you. Women feel it, they're drawn to it, often without even knowing why. So if you've ever doubted your appeal, let this be your reminder. You are not just relevant. You are needed. You are admired. And your greatest strength isn't in what you do next, but in continuing to show up as exactly who you are. That is stunning. Thanks for spending time with us today. If this video made you pause, smile, or see yourself a little differently, that's no small thing. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need the same reminder. Drop a comment below. Tell us which part spoke to you, your presence, your humor, the way you make others feel. This channel is about showing up with truth, grace, and respect for the man you already are.